Hi everybody, welcome back to English 116, and this is for our last class before the final examination, Monday, May 12th, where we are finishing up our poetry section. And the last poem that I wanted to assign is The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman, which you may have watched when she was delivering it live during the 2021 presidential inauguration. Certainly, that's the way that I first experienced the poem, and most people experience the poem that way. And a little bit of the history of that: Jill Biden, Joe Biden's wife, and before the inaugural swearing in 2021, Jill Biden, who has a doctoral degree in English, who is an English professor at community college, no less, had heard Amanda Gorman read poetry, was so impressed, invited Amanda Gorman to be the youngest inaugural poet in our history at the tender age of 21. And Amanda Gorman lived up to that challenge, especially after January 6th. It was a bigger challenge than anybody had anticipated. If you'll remember the events of January 6th, there was what many people call an attempted insurrection on Capitol Hill. But I do remember the 2021 presidential swearing-in ceremony very clearly, where there was great concern that there would not be a peaceful transfer of power. And luckily there was. But Amanda Gorman wanted to deliver a poem of hope during those turbulent times, which is exactly what she did. And I can say that her reading is as much of a performance as it is a poetry reading. So luckily, this is something that we can watch as well as listen to, which I have the video for below. And following that, there is a 2025, so quite recent, Meet the Press interview with Amanda Gorman with her reflections on that day on 2021. And it's a 24 minutes video that is definitely worth your watching because it talks about, amongst other topics, censorship and book bans. And I can say that Amanda Gorman's poem has been censored in some places. And despite her poetry of hope, and notice when you watch the performance that she's wearing bright yellow, and she did that purposefully to bring a sense of joy and optimism. Underneath that bright yellow outfit is a bulletproof vest, and in fact everyone on stage was wearing bulletproof vests, to give you an idea of the historical context of the time. And it was only after her delivery that we were able to read the poem. And as you can see in the notes below, I've got a link where you can read the poem. And it's brilliant. And sometimes it's better not to analyze poetry, in my opinion. Maybe it's better just to allow it to speak to you, to feel it. So I'm going to let you feel The Hill We Climb, and then have the master herself, Amanda Gorman, talk a little bit about her poem. So those are your assignments for today. And on Wednesday, we have our very last class, where I will be posting our final examination at 10:30 a.m. It'll be due 24 hours later. And that said, I don't expect you to spend 24 hours on that final exam. I just expect you to spend maybe 2 hours, which is what you would do in a face-to-face class. So I'll be due at 10:30 a.m. And do know, if you've got any outstanding assignments, they are due on Wednesday, 5/14. So that is the ending of the class, in effect. So one last thing, as you can see in the notes below, I've got a farewell message from a friend of mine. And it's short, so just a couple of minutes long. And you'll see that final grades should be available on my GCC by Tuesday, May 20th, or contact me after the 20th for your grade. If you want your outstanding assignments returned to you, also send me an email to that effect so that I can return them to you. And I know it's not so easy maintaining a sense of community nowadays, so I have a Facebook page, and you can see the information below if you wanted to stay in touch with me and or your classmates. There is no attendance question today, so that you can prepare for your final exam. You're welcome. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. And I will post the final exam on Wednesday at 10:30, and 80 points will be devoted to poetry. You'll have a series of essay questions from which to choose. 10 points will be devoted to short story, and 10 points will be devoted to drama. Again, essay questions, but much shorter ones, obviously, because they're worth only 10 points. Again, you'll have choice, and again, it's open book, open notes, so you can utilize the resources from the semester. Again, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well, and we will continue on with our final examination. Take care. Bye-bye.